Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Black and Blue FF Preview Week 13 edition. You know what that means? It's Thanksgiving week, family, fall, football. We got it all going on over here in the NFC North. We got the traditional game, the Lions hosting the Green Bay Packers. That's right, Greg's Lions looking at 2-7 win teams right now. Of course, Green Bay's got the advantage with the tie. And traditional game, man. Kicking off Thanksgiving with the two teams we should be, Green Bay and Detroit. Before everybody gets tired and everybody can fall asleep in the Dallas game, wake back up for the Ravens and Cincinnati game. It's a perfect little combo, if you ask me. No better way to do it. And this is going to be a battle, man. As it currently sits, Detroit is negative 2.5 point favorites at home against the Packers. But let's go ahead and break that down. So the running backs, Gibbs and Montgomery versus Wilson. I'm going to obviously give that one to the Lions, right? Gibbs is amazing. Jacobs is amazing. I think the Packers would be wise to sit him out this week and just let him rest up and get ready for December football when we're really going to need him. You look at the wide receivers, you got ASB, Amon-Ra St. Brown, and then Jameson Williams. And then for the Packers, Watson, Dobbs, Williams, Golden if he could come back. And, we'll see if Reed, he's not going to be ready. We're not even going to attempt it. But I kind of think that's more or less, that's kind of like a tie, if you ask my opinion. There's not really a clear advantage there. J-Mo can be nothing, while ASB can be great. So on the flip side, Watson and Dobbs are a pretty lethal combo, pretty hard to shut both of them down. I expect one of them to go off for a game. I'm leading Watson. He's starting to get back to peak form. It's amazing to watch. Tight ends, we both got backups in, so it's kind of a wash. I wouldn't recommend playing either of these tight ends in this game for fantasy purposes. Of course, you can start basically Wilson, Gibbs, ASB, Watson, and Dobbs. Even Dobbs you're going to start this week. And then when we look ahead, the defense, that's going to be an advantage. Green Bay, obviously 202 total points, given up to 243 by the Lions. Just better IDPs, better defense, better defensive coordinator. All around, Green Bay is going to try to keep this game low scoring, but we'll see how it turns out. I got my prediction for the end of the game as well. So that leaves us with the tie, right? Wide receivers tied, tight ends kind of a wash, running backs Detroit, quarterbacks Green Bay, defense Green Bay. So that leaves to the quarterback with Goff versus Love. Pretty even, you would think, right? But Love is going to be known as Mr. Thanksgiving. Okay, let's break down his third Thanksgiving game coming up. Let's look back at 2023 and 2024. He has a combined 542 passing yards in those two games. He went 43 for 60. He has 5 passing touchdowns, 0 interceptions, and he has 39 rushing yards. He is simply amazing in these big games when he needs to be. And like I said, once he wins this game, he would have won 3 Thanksgivings in a row, not as a Detroit team, not as a Dallas Cowboy team, but as a Packer. So I think this puts potential for him to be known as Mr. Thanksgiving. You have 3 great performances like that. They forgot his turkey leg last time we won this in Detroit 2 years ago. Let's hope they don't do that again. How shameful was that? The first Thanksgiving I can recall in 4 decades of watching football where they haven't giving out the turkey leg to the winner. Pretty shameful. So I'm going to go 31-20 Green Bay. So if you want to put it on the money line wager on Green Bay, that's a fantastic idea. It's at plus 120. But I do have another great bet. Of course, Greg, he'll be coming up on this series just in a little bit, talking about his Lions don't believe a word he says, if you want good advice. But Greg and I have a friendly wager, $20. The loser pays to Fantasy Cares. If you're not familiar with it, go check it out. It's a great cause. A lot of things going on this Thanksgiving with them beyond the Scott Fish Bowl. So go check it out. Greg, get ready to make that donation, my man, because the Green Bay Packers, we're not losing. We're going to 8 wins after this. To tell us about the Chicago Bears, here's Andy.
Another week, another Bears win. Have I grown tired of the monotony of winning? Perhaps a little. The Chicago Bears are 8-3, leading the division. Things are going well. Defensively, maybe less well. They're down, I don't know. I've lost track of the number of linebackers that are missing. 5, maybe. A lot of the secondary. So it's a challenge defensively. But the offense has been up for the challenge. Certainly, Caleb Williams with an up and down day. One of the worst plays that you will see by any quarterback when he retreated into the end zone and then gave up a sack and then gave up the ball and allowed the Steelers to score a defensive touchdown. That wasn't ideal, but they overcame it. Great day offensively for the Bears. We're kind of getting used to saying that. That's fun. DJ Moore had a day, visited the end zone not once but twice. That was exciting to see. It was further proof that this passing game can come around to any receiver at any time. Luther Burden had another really promising day. Great, especially in the first half. Colston Loveland and Luther Burden are now 1-2 on the Bears in terms of yards per route run on the season. The rookie class looking very good. They have a game coming up against Philadelphia Eagles. It's a trap game, if we're being honest. An easy team to look past. No one is taking the Eagles seriously. Come on, we're looking ahead to Packer Week in Week 14. Bears are a funny team. They actually have a negative point differential right now, -3 on the season, despite being 8-3. Look, they do exactly what they need to do and no more. But it's working out. So here's hoping on a weird day. It's a Friday. They play on Black Friday against the Eagles. Another reason that they might be looking past this thing. But it's going to be an exciting finish to the season. Shoot, the Bears need I don't know, 2 more wins, and you're probably a playoff team. Good times. Bear down.
Wow. I was screaming at the TV screen. And most of the time, it wasn't for a good reason. It just wasn't. But in the end, Detroit did manage to secure a win. What a day for Jahmyr Gibbs. Now, I realize that he's changed his number to 0, but this is my Gibbs jersey, so I'm wearing it in tribute of what he did. Yeah, since 2000, there's been maybe 2, 3 games that can even match what Gibbs did. 2003, Clinton Porter, and 2013, I think Jamal Charles. They were all within like a couple points of Gibbs. Uh, I just can't find any that were better than what Gibbs did. 264 total yards, I think 11 receptions. I'm not even sure about that. And 3 touchdowns. Just a great day. Amon Ra did bounce back. I was going to wear his jersey today, but he had 2 drops. And so Amon Ra gets put off till next week. I'll wear his jersey next week. The 2 drop balls cost Detroit a couple of drives, but they still managed to score quite often. And again, that was Gibbs. Now, Jamison Williams, I did tell you to start him last week. Sorry about that. He came up with a goose egg, but he did have 1 or 2 really long passes that he caught and converted, but they were both overturned by penalties. So he comes up with 0 points for us. But the thing that had me screaming at the TV was Detroit's inability to stop the Giants on 3rd and 4th down. The Giants converted 8 third downs and 1 4th down, and most of them were 3rd and long. And I'm not talking 6, I'm talking 16, 26, just long. The Giants made those big plays all day long. Now, that's going to have to be cleared up if Detroit's going to avenge their week 1 loss that they suffered at Lambeau. But I suspect they will. Defensively, Aiden Hutchinson, he had a late sack, which kind of salvaged his day. He finished with 6 tackles, 4 solos, 6 pressures, 2 quarterback hits, which include that sack. Jack Campbell, he had a good day. He had 11 total tackles, 5 solo. Alex Anzalone, 6 tackles, 2 solos. No, yeah, 6 tackle, 2 solos. Amik Robinson, cornerback. Remember, I told you if Jackson Dart starts, don't start Detroit corners. Jackson Dart didn't start. Amik Robinson had 7 solo tackles and 2 pass breakups. And Thomas Harper, safety, had 6 tackles, 5 solo, 1 pass breakup, and an interception. All good days for Detroit's defense. Now, Detroit's played on Thanksgiving every year since 1934, except World War II, when the games were paused from 41 to 44. Now, the Lions aren't great on Thanksgiving Day. A lot of people have a misconception that they are. They're really not. They're 37, 45, and 2 on this day, and they're just 8 and 17 since 2000. So it's not a favorable matchup, but as you probably heard from Iggy, we got a wager on this, and Fantasy Cares is going to get $20 one way or the other. Either he's going to pay it because my Lions spanked his Packers, or I'm going to pay it because his Packers spanked my Lions. Either way, fantasy care is getting $20. All right. So I think the Packers have given up quite a few points to receivers and quarterbacks. So I think Detroit's going to have to attack in the air. So I think next week's going to be Amon Ra's week, to be honest. Um, it's a problem. I think Jair Alexander is the problem. They're missing him, and he is a good cornerback. So they've been exposed, and this makes Goff, Amon Ra, St. Brown, and Jimmy Gibbs all their must starts every week anyway. But despite being shut out last week, I think JMO is projected to score about 15 and a half points this week. So I'd put him into your lineup as well. Thanksgiving Day, you got to have it. You should avoid both David Montgomery and Brock Wright this week. Defensively, again, I'm going to put in Aiden Hutchinson because he's still getting pressures and sacks, and he's also getting tackles. I am going to play the corner this week. I'm going to play Amik Robinson. I may play Rock Yassin. Um, Harper's pretty much got to start because he's a tackling machine back there. And again, the two linebackers, Campbell and Anzalone, must start each week because they're getting you your tackles, and they're also occasionally rushing the passer. So that's it for the Detroit Lions. What do we have from the Vikings this week, JC?
Well, Greg, let me tell you, it's going to be a whole lot of suck. That's what you're going to expect from the Vikings this week. Oh, my goodness. Oh, it's been rough. Anyways, I'm JC, covering the Minnesota Vikings every week, and it has been extremely depressing. How do you go from last year being, a top team in the league with Sam Darnold, and this year you're just absolute bust of a team at the bottom of the league. It is what it is. I am gonna put a stat up here for one of the reasons why I feel this way is happening. But yeah, let's all give a hand for our guy 9. So let me just put this up here real quick. Yeah, so let's just go over this. Not good. He looks pretty happy though. Give him a hand at 9. Give yourself a hand, buddy. This week was an absolute embarrassment, brother. I can't believe it. But let's just look right here. His first week, right? Obviously playing against Chicago. He does really well. 143 yards, 2 touchdowns, and interception. Ends up winning that game, 98% or 98% passer rating. Not bad. Then takes a huge drop against Atlanta. Kind of bounces back against Detroit. Baltimore, man, has a huge game against Baltimore, but only throws 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions again, but a whole bunch of yards. Super excited about that. You're like, all right, maybe JJ McCarthy is going to be transforming into this guy who's going to throw the ball a lot, like Kevin O'Connell has been using him, right? He wants him to throw the ball, but takes another downward spiral against Chicago. Almost wins that game, but terrible, right? Yeah, we talked about this 2 weeks ago, right? 80 was it? Half of those yards, the 76 yards came in the last drive of that 150 yards. Another 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. Now Green Bay, I talked about it. I was excited. I'm like, okay, McCarthy, all he has to do is, get rid of some of the mistakes, and we'll be good, right? Well, wrong. All he did was make mistakes. 87 passing yards. 87 passing yards. You have got to be kidding me. 12 completions, 19 attempts. That is it. 19. 19 attempts. 87 passing yards. 0 touchdowns. 2 interceptions. It should have been 3 interceptions. Oh, it's just unbelievable. It's so hard to watch. It's just it's constant. 34.2 pass rating. It's just a downward trajectory. And this week he's out with a concussion. I think he's out because, I mean he did get his head slammed on the turf a little bit, but it's a headache for us. It's a headache for us to watch. We've all got concussions from watching this. So Max Prosper is going to be in. Excited for Max, right? Excited for him. He is a hometown kid, played for the Gophers here in Minnesota. It'll be interesting to see what happens. I think they'll end up running the ball a lot. I'm sure they'll let him throw the ball a little bit here and there. I mean, you have the best wide receiver duo, or one of the best wide receiver duos in the NFL. You got to let him sling the ball. Um, and Brosmer he'll throw it downfield. So we'll see what happens, man. I'm not expecting a lot. I think Seahawks are gonna have a lot of fun with us. Obviously you're gonna have Darnold revenge game. Our secondary is absolutely terrible. So JSN's probably gonna go bananas against us. Um, I think you're gonna want to. I mean, Aaron Jones, man. I don't know. I mean, he is getting more attempts barely this last week, and I thought he would have got more against Green Bay, but he didn't. Um, 9 for 41. And Mason, man, I think they stick Mason in there a little bit more, right? 8 for 42. He's a little bit more efficient. They put him down there because he just runs his head. He runs, downfield. He wants to get that first down. So they put him down in first down situations when they need to get a first down, and touchdown situations. They put him down there in the red zone, So, Mason, I think, is going to be more the guy I'm going to lean towards in this game. Jones could get loose. He always can. He does catch the ball though, right? Aaron Jones, three catches this last week. So it does happen. There is that. So if you're in PPR leagues, I'm okay with obviously starting Jones. I'd be really more okay with, just starting him as a flex. Yeah, McCarthy's out. Rossmer in. We'll see what happens here. Jefferson, he's just been, it sucks, right, man? You draft him in the first round and it's just been, you've got a couple games out of him, but not great. In Addison last week, 0 points. That really, really hurts. So, I am going to be a little weary on starting some of these players this week. I'm going to start Jefferson. If I have somebody else, like I'm starting John Mechie. Like I went out and grabbed him actually last week before everybody else was grabbing him this week, because Garrett Wilson's not been back. So I grabbed him, and he was somebody that I'm plugging in over at somebody like a Jordan Addison. You can start obviously defensive players. Their defensive looked so bad this last week, but it doesn't matter. They're going to get tackles because they're on the field so much. They are on the field so much. It's not going to matter. Cashman, 16 total tackles, eight of which were solo tackles. We talk about it every week. Bet on Blake Cashman every week. If you want to bet on his over for tackles, start betting on him, dude, because he's gonna hit for you. Van Ginkel again, 4 tackles, 1 assist. Like we got to fire up Van Ginkel every week. He's at least in there getting in the face of quarterbacks, and he's had a sack already this year. Jalen Redmond, he's been doing all right. He's been doing pretty good. 4 tackles, 2 assists last week, so 6 total. I mean, that's pretty dang good. Theo Jackson getting in the mix a little bit last week. Metellus, man, Metellus. The one thing about Metellus is if he doesn't get a lot of solo tackles, he's still going to get you a bunch of assists. So last week, total tackles over 10 again, which is great. And we talked about Dallas Turner last week, being a sensational rookie, or not, or a guy that was drafted high as a rookie and didn't have a sensational rookie season. But this year, coming out, he's starting to turn out. Another sack this week. So, I mean, if you're looking for a guy to plug in, not a lot of tackles, but he did get that sack. Fire up Will Riker this week. I think we're going to be kicking a lot of field goals. I think Brosmer is going to be good enough to get us within range to kick field goals. I'm betting against the Vikings again this week. I don't see them winning much at all anymore this year. So I'm just going to be hopeful that we can, get a decent draft pick. It's going to be hard watching them this year, the rest of the year. But yeah, Questy, man, I'm questioning him a little bit. I don't approve on all the money they spent this year with how bad things have gone. Kevin O'Connell, also, I don't think he's been doing well with this quarterback, because the quarterback that we should have drafted, Questy, was Bo Nix. You would have had gotten a lot more out of him, especially slinging the ball. McCarthy's not that guy. He's a guy that hands the ball off. We saw a lot about it in college. So that's just my 2 cents. I think, Vikings take a loss this week. It's a good thing that my second favorite team is the Seattle Seahawks, so I'll be definitely rooting for them. It's going to be a fun game to watch. But Yeah. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody. I'm going to get out of here. The guys I said to fire up today, if you really need to, Jordan Mason, if you really need to, like I said, in a flex spot, you can fire up Aaron Jones, especially in PPR leagues. Justin Jefferson, you have to start your guys. He's going to get targets. I am very nervous about Addison, so he's somebody I might sit. If you have somebody like a Mechie or somebody like that out you can play. But right, the defensive guys I said, fire up Cashman. Always fire him up. Van Ginkel as well. You can throw Redmond in there. Metellus been good. I thought Wilson would do better this last week against the Packers, but he did all right. But yeah, Skull Vikings. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Make sure y'all are tuning in every week to the Black and Blue Fantasy Football NFC North preview show, where you get some great insight from players that follow these teams. Iggy with the Packers and Greg Kellogg, the Lions. They're facing off each other this week for that turkey leg. And Andy Behrens, covering the Chicago Bears. And I'm, obviously me covering the Vikings. It's just been a blast every single weekend to do that. Make sure you guys check out the sportsaffiliation.com. Tons of articles coming out every week. If you're into the IDP stuff, individual defensive players, if you play any leagues like that, we have some awesome content coming out from IDP Pelton. Michael Pelton over there. He's been crushing it out of the park. There's tons and tons of articles over there. Like I said, Coach has been getting our a bunch of stuff up there for us too for the rankings. So check it out for rankings. We got data out there coming out from the professor and Dennis Michelson. So check that stuff out. There's a ton of articles. Yeah, more and more coming out every week. Obviously check out our YouTube page because there is so many videos that come out throughout the week. Obviously, we're around the holidays right now, so we might be missing some shows here and there for holidays. Everyone gets the day off for holidays, but yeah, we appreciate everyone coming out. Make sure you like and subscribe the videos. It really helps us grow. We have a Discord that we're going to be dropping here soon, so if you want to get involved with the community, just let us know. Drop some comments in here. Let us know what we're doing good. We're trying to grow this community. It's all about positivity and having fun. So yeah, appreciate y'all. Love y'all. I'm out of here. Happy Thanksgiving. Peace out.